Good morning, my dear friends, and it is barely still morning. It's almost afternoon here in far northwest Kansas, and I have been busy today, y'all. I was getting ready, getting the tripod set up and getting the camera ready at about 8:15, 8:20 a.m. this morning to do your morning Bible reading, and a friend needed help, and then another friend needed help, and I've been busy. I've been working my rear off, and I am tired now. I am tired. I got good rest last night. I got about 8.5 hours of sleep, and it was good sleep. I love my bed. Everything, all my furniture and appliances are new. I bought everything new when I moved up here, moving from the Texas Gulf Coast. The east part of the Texas Gulf Coast to northwest Kansas was a huge move for me, and so I just gave away and sold everything that I had down there except for a few of my clothes. Most of my clothes are new too, because you wear a different kind of clothes up here than you did on the Texas Gulf Coast. Uh, and the bed I got is very comfortable, and it is very warm, so I thank God every night that He gives me good rest and sleep. But I am tired now. It's not even noontime. I guess that's part of being old. I don't know, but sorry I'm running late. I'll try to do better this afternoon. And I think I might put my phone on mute for a while, because I have missed my time with God and my time with y'all. And, I know helping others is important, and I enjoy doing it. It just wears me out, and it flusters me because I get so behind on my time with God and my time with y'all. And y'all, your time with me is precious. I love the comments that y'all leave. I I feel the love, and I don't have anybody in my life to love me except y'all. And I am very grateful for every one of you, and I love your comments, and I'm doing my best to respond to them. I do respond to a lot every day, but y'all are commenting a whole lot more than I have time to respond to. But I'm doing the best I can. Maybe someday I'll get caught up. I don't know. But let me get started here. We're continuing in the book of Exodus, chapter 14. And usually I read it, what I'm going to share with you before I share it. I didn't have time today, so I may stutter and stammer as we go through here. More than normal. I know I do that anyway, but it may be worse than normal today. Gonna do the best I can. And unless I get raptured out of here sometime today, I'll be back this evening with your evening Bible readings from the New Testament. I love reading the Bible with you. I love reading the Bible, period. I always ask the Holy Spirit to tutor me and to open my eyes and my ears and my brain when I read God's holy word. And that really helps me a lot in understanding God's message. And the Bible is God's living word. It is alive, and I can read the same chapter in the same book 4 or 5 times, and the Holy Spirit may give me 4 or 5 different messages. It is just awesome. I love reading God's Word, and I love praying, communicating with my Creator. It's just time that I thoroughly enjoy. Let me shut up here and get started. Chapter 14 of the book of Exodus. And Exodus is a very fun, very exciting book in the Bible. I hope y'all are enjoying this as much as I am. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel that they turn and encamp before Pi Hahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, over against Baal Zephon. Before it shall ye encamp by the sea. For Pharaoh will say of the children of Israel, They are entangled in the land, the wilderness hath shut them in. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them. Did y'all catch that? It is God who hardens people's hearts, or it is God who opens up a heart and softens it and makes it receptive to God and His message. When I tell you that God is in control of everything in everyone's life, every second of their life, what I'm telling you is biblical. Often we don't see anything good coming from God, but in the end, for us true Christians, it all is going to work out better than our feeble minds can ever fathom. And it's the end that counts, not everything in between. So keep your faith, keep your strength, and keep on plodding along, serving the Lord and being obedient to Him. God is in control, and if you're a true Christian, everything's going to be okay. God hardened Pharaoh's heart how many times? Probably 20 times already in the book of Exodus, the first 13 chapters we've read, and he ain't through yet. But Moses and the Israelites will be victorious in the end because God is in charge of everything. All right, let me see if I can find where I left off there. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, that he shall follow after them, and I will be honored upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. Bam, y'all. Everything God does is so that He and He alone can get the glory. You know what Moses did, leading the Israelites from Egypt for 40 years or whatever it was, seemed like everything was out of control. But God was with them. God put up hedges where hedges needed to be put up, and He tore down walls where walls needed to be tore down. And I'm not talking literally, I'm talking figuratively. All the obstacles that popped up before them as they traveled toward their promised land were destroyed by God. And there's more to come. All right, let me stop my rambling. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants was turned against the people. And they said, Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? And you know that they had held the people of Israel, the Israelites. They weren't really Israelites yet, but you know, those people, God's people, they held them as slaves. And God said to let them go. And Pharaoh, God hardened Pharaoh's heart how many times? I lost count. But He finally let them go. Now they're regretting letting them go because they lost all that free help they had. And it was told the king of Egypt that the people fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and of his servants was turned against the people, and they said, "Why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us?" And he made ready his chariot and took his people with him, and he took 600 chosen chariots and all the chariots of Egypt and captains over every one of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh again, king of Egypt, and he pursued after the children of Israel, and the children of Israel went out with a high hand. But the Egyptians pursued after them all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them encamping by the sea. Y'all remember the rest of the story? As Paul Harvey used to say, and now the rest of the story. And when Pharaoh drew nigh, the children of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, and they were sore afraid. And the children of Israel cried out unto the Lord. And they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, hast thou taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore hast thou dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? Is not this the word that we did tell thee in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it had been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. And Moses said unto the people, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Moses didn't have a clue how he was going to solve this problem. They were way outnumbered by a very strong army, but Moses had faith in God, and he told them, fear ye not, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. For the Egyptians whom ye have seen today, ye shall see them again no more forever. That's a lot of faith. You got this huge army coming after you. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Bam, y'all. Y'all hang on to that verse. Whenever some problem or trial comes up in your life, read Exodus chapter 14, verse 14. That'll be easy to remember. Exodus 14:14. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Bam! And the Lord said unto Moses, wherefore criest thou unto me? Speak unto the children of Israel that they go forward. But lift thou up thy rod. Remember Moses' rod? When God gave it to him, he told him to throw it on the ground, and he did, and it was a serpent, turned into a serpent, a poisonous snake. God told him to pick up that serpent by its tail, and Moses reluctantly picked it up, and it turned back into a rod. That rod has saved Moses and the Israelites but many times, and it's fixing to save it again. But the rod itself did nothing. It's the faith that Moses had in God to protect them that saved them, not the rod itself. God said, "But lift up thy rod and stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it." Now, how many times in history has the sea been divided before? Zero. But they were trapped. There's a huge sea in front of them, and umpteen gazillion Egyptians coming behind them, after them, to take them captive, make them slaves again. And the Lord said, "I shall fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. Lift up thy rod, Moses, and stretch out thine hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them, and I will get me honor upon Pharaoh and upon all his hosts, upon his chariots and upon his horsemen." All of this, friends, was done by God so that God could be glorified. The Israelites couldn't be glorified. They were about to either get killed or be taken captive and made slaves again. Moses couldn't be glorified. There's nothing he could do to stop them. God does get glorified for what he himself did. "And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gotten me honor upon Pharaoh, upon his chariots, and upon his horsemen." And the angel of God, which went before the camp of Israel, removed and went behind them, and the pillar of the cloud went from before their face and stood before them. They couldn't turn around and run back home. "And it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel, and it was a cloud and darkness to them, but it gave light by night to these, so that the one came not near the other all the night. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left hand. Never been done before, but to save the people of Israel, God divided the sea, dried the sea bottom, and let them cross. And the Egyptians pursued after them and went in to the midst of the sea, even all of Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. And it came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians, and took off their chariot wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that so that the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians." And the Lord said unto Moses, "Stretch out thine hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen." And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it, and the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. And the waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the host of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them. They all got baptized, but not in the way they wanted to get baptized. But the children of Israel walked upon dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left hand. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the sea shore. And Israel saw that great work which the Lord did upon the Egyptians, and the people feared the Lord and believed the Lord and his servant Moses. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider has he thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his host hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captains are also drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone. The right hand, O Lord, is become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Lord, hath dashed in pieces the enemy. And friends, that's what God will do to your enemies if you have faith and let him handle all adverse situations in your life. You can take that to the bank. You got to have faith. You got to believe. And in the greatness of thine excellency, thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee, and thou sendest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble. And with the blast of thy nostrils, the waters were gathered together, the floods stood upright as a heap, and the depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil, my lust shall be satisfied upon them, I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them, they sank as lead in the mighty waters. Here is an excellent question. Ask this question when you got a problem. Who is like unto thee, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? And let me answer that question for you. Nobody. Only God can take care of our problems. Put your faith in Him. Thou stretchest out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou, in thy mercy, hast led forth the people which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength unto thy holy habitation. The people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the inhabitants of Palestina. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab, trembling, shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. God is taking care of everything. God is taking care of everything. Fear and dread shall fall upon them. By the greatness of thine arm they shall be as still as a stone, till thy people pass over, O Lord, till the people pass over, which thou hast purchased. Thou shalt bring them in and plant them in the mountain of thine inheritance, in the place, O Lord, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in the sanctuary, O Lord, which thy hands have established. The Lord shall reign. How long? How long shall the Lord reign? Verse 18 says, the Lord shall reign forever and ever. For the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. They didn't even have to wade through mud. God dried the land at the bottom of the sea for the Israelites. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. And y'all, sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. And he will always triumph gloriously, because he is the Lord. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. Therefore the name of it was called Marah. And the people murmured against Moses. Here they go murmuring again. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? And he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. And said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord thy God, and wilt do that which is right in his sight, and wilt give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases on thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord that healeth thee. And friends, Is there anything in you that needs to be healed? Let the Lord do it for you. I do not trust modern medicine anymore. Medical care in the United States of America is all about the money now. It is not about it is not about patient care. They don't give a flip about patients anymore. That's why when I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, I refused medical treatment. They said I had 4 to 5 months to live to find a good hospice to make my end days as comfortable and as pain-free as possible. I laughed at them. That was in November of 2016. I never took one treatment, and I'm still alive. I got faith in the Lord who healeth his people. They took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, Would to God we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. They had no faith. Even after all the miracles God performed to save them, to get them out of there, they still had no faith. Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, At even then ye shall know that the Lord hath brought you out of the land of Egypt. They kept forgetting all of that. And in the morning then ye shall see the glory of the Lord, for that he heareth your murmurings against the Lord. And what are ye that ye murmur against us? And Moses said, This shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, for that the Lord heareth your murmurings which ye murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. And Moses spake unto Aaron. God is very patient with us, very patient with us. I don't think I could have that much patience. And Moses spake unto Aaron, Say unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before the Lord, for he hath heard your murmurings. After all the miracles he worked for them to save them and to get them to their promised land, they still didn't have faith. I don't understand that. Oh, excuse my voice, it's crackling bad. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and began the glory of the, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, at evening ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. Let me get a drink. I don't know what happened to my voice. Now I got to figure out where I was at. There I am. And it came to pass that at even the quails showed up and covered the camp. And in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, it is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. So the Lord heard their murmurings and gave them quail meat and manna bread. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, and some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank. Why don't they obey God? And Moses was wroth with them, and I would have been also. And they gathered it every morning, and every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said, tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seeth that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worm therein. And Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days ye shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. Hard-headed people. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath, therefore he giveth you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the seventh day. So the people rested on the seventh day. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna, and it was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moses said, This is the thing which the Lord commandeth. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that they may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. And Moses said unto Aaron, Take a pot, and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before the Lord, to be kept for your generations. As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years, until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan. Now an omer is the 10th part of an ephah. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of Sin after their journeys, according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses, and said, Give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, Why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt the Lord? And the people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses, and said, Wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt, to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, What shall I do to this people? They be almost ready to stone me. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod wherewith thou smotest the river, take in thine hand, and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and there thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel, and he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, Is the Lord among us or not? Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men, and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put under him, and he sat thereon, and Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands. They held up Moses' hands so they would continue to win that war. The one on one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi. For he said, Behold, the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. All right, y'all, that's it for your morning reading. And it ain't morning no more. Sorry about that. I'll be back this evening unless I get raptured out of here, and then we'll be living with the Word instead of sitting down here reading it. I love you. I appreciate you. Y'all are special to me. God bless every one of you. Talk to you later.